This is a short video dealing with the second half of Project 1 Rental Car Section 1 requirements. What we did in the first part was to take in the initial user input. As a quick review, we asked them to tell us what their rental code was, and based on the rental code, we printed the days or the weeks rented. We asked them what their rental code was, we asked them for the days or week rented, and then based on their rental code, we printed out the days or the weeks rented as our customer check. So the second portion of Project 1 Rental Car Section 1, we have to get mileage information and we have to calculate some charges. So first thing we're going to have to do is calculate this thing called a base charge. Now the base charge is based on the rental code. So it's a different base charge if it's a daily rental or a budget rental or a weekly rental. So we have to have a variable called base charge. And we're just going to put it in the global scope. And then what we're going to do is a series of if statements. So if the rental code is B, then we're going to say base charge is the rental period times the rate. Now for B, the rental period is days rented. Because we have two rental periods. We have days rented or weeks rented. Days rented applies to the fact that it's a budget or a daily rental. Weeks rented applies to the fact that the user entered W and said it was a weekly rental. So to calculate the base charge, it's going to be days rented times the budget charge, because B is a budget rental. L, now the next one is, well, what are my other options? My other options are D for daily, W for weekly. So L if the rental code is daily, then my base charge is going to be days rented again, because that applies to both budget and daily, times the daily charge. And then finally, if the rental code is W for weekly, then the base charge is going to be weeks rented times the weekly charge. Okay, so down here under our customer check, they're going to want odometer start, odometer end, and we haven't done that yet. But they want us to print out the base charge. So I'm going to print here base charge. So let's do a little bit of checking right now to see if our code is compiling and it works. Because right now I can tell you it's not going to run. It's not even going to compile properly because I did something bad. And I kind of did this on purpose so we would remember. I'm using a single equal in an if statement. That's wrong. I need to use a double equal in the if statement. So these have to always be double equal, and additionally they have to end with a colon. So always remember, if it's in an if, an elif, or an else, if or elif, it has to be a double equal. It cannot be a single equal, or you will get the error that I just did. So now let's run this again. Okay, I'm going to test it for budget first. B, days rented is going to be 3. So I have B is what I put in for the type of rental. I put 3 for the days I rented it, and at $40 a day, it was $120. So that's correct. So now I'm going to test it for daily. The number of days rented is going to be 5. So my input was a D, that's correct. My other input was a 5, so 5 days rented, and at $60 a day, that's $300. So now I'm going to test it for the weekly. The number of weeks rented is going to be 2. So I rented the car for, the type was for weeks. I rented it for 2 weeks, and at $90 a week, it cost me $380. So that's good. That gets us through the first set of calculations. So now we have to figure out what the odometer readings were, because unfortunately these cars are not unlimited mileage. So the first thing I have to do in part 1 is I have to get the input for the starting odometer reading. So I use my input method again, and luckily we've given you the question to ask. And then I also have to get the ending odometer reading. So I'm going to use my input method again, and this time I'm going to use this particular question. So let's see what happens when I do this. I'm going to run current. I'm going to do it for budget. Number of days rented is 3. The starting odometer reading is 100. The ending odometer reading is going to be 600. So I have a budget car. I rented it for 3 days. The starting odometer was 100. The ending odometer was 600. And right now it still only costs $120 because I haven't done the calculation. So as part of our check, they want us to print odometer start, odometer end, and base charge. So we already have the base charge there. Just going to copy and paste because it's easier and quicker. And I'm going to print odometer end and odometer start. And now we will run this one more time. So for budget, let's say I'm going to do it for 3 days again. Starting odometer is 100. Ending odometer is 600. Okay, that looks like that worked right. So let's try it for daily and see if that works right. Number of days rented is going to be 5. The starting odometer reading is going to be 1,000, and the ending odometer reading is going to be 2,000. And all that information here looks like it came out just fine. So I'm going to try it one more time for weekly. Number of weeks rented, I'm going to say 2 again. The starting odometer reading is going to be 50. The ending odometer reading is going to be 1050. And so that is correct. So we now know that all the information we've put in so far is coming back to us correct, and that our calculations so far are correct. So this takes us through the first section of the rental car project 1.